تسليما كثيرا. وبعد، حياكم الله ورضي الله تعالى عنكم وأدامكم بكل خير وعافية. اللهم آمين يا رب العالمين. When we talk about our experience in America, we are talking actually about the future of our children and about ourselves too. We're not talking about a short period of time. We're talking about the long time until we meet Rabbil Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless if we have another plan to go back, to stay and back home or wherever. But unfortunately, not everywhere over there like ready to receive the people back. And even if we have a kind of stable in our countries there, not everybody willing to go back because of our careers, our positions, our, establishment over here, and everything here is already settled. And this country, subhanallah, the people here, they really know how they can give and how they can take it back. Even the stability, even the positions and everything. They are pushing us to have more and more and more from the dunya. And they are putting us under pressure all the time. How can we share together our experience about the advantage and disadvantage of this country actually? We're not talking about the regime, we're not talking about the politics, we're not talking about that things. We are talking about ourselves individually, our family, our children, our future actually, as a people. For the Islam, firstly, when we talk about the deen, what is the advantage and disadvantage here? We can see, from my perspective, I'm here like 13 years ago. Honestly, I could worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala maybe more than back home, to be honest with you. Over there, I was like distracted all the time with a lot of things. Here, I'm focusing about what I'm doing. I have my open mind to do more activities, and the people accepting whatever we have as the imams. The only condition to be honest with the people and honest with yourself and honest with your da'wah. When the people trust you, you can let them give more towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and toward the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and toward the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallam and toward of the da'wah in itself. Firstly, as an imam, if I want to share my experience with you, I heard it from a lot of people. Wallahi al-azim, I heard from a lot of people saying, this is the first Ramadan I can feel it. Just came from overseas to America and praying Taraweeh here, most of them, they saying that because no rush. Firstly. Secondly, we have our halaqat al-Quran and Islamic studies and education way and so and so. The only problem, not with the da'wah in itself, not with the imam, the only problem with the parents, if they are bringing their children or not. As I said in Khutbat al-Jumu'ah yesterday, usually I'm receiving the bad, I don't want to say bad, but a kind of a children, they are in a bad situation. Usually I'm receiving them, كيف نترجم بعد فوات الأوان? When they're coming too late, whatever. They are coming really too late. That's what I'm telling their parents. I didn't see them before. You didn't bring them to me, to sit with me. From the early beginning, I know Ali and Ahmed, and I know my brother, I know my sister, and they are always coming to the masjid and sharing our teaching and studying, and they are voluntarily coming to say, hey, we are here, what can we do? How can we help you? Once I have a problem with Ahmed or Ali, in any time, I have my connection with them. I can talk to them. They already knew me. They can say, Salaam alaikum, Sheikh, I have a problem with even my parents. Help me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to jump to fix the problem there. But otherwise, I never saw your children. Once you're going to come to me and say, hey, my child, and you know, like drunk or right now or doing something bad, okay, how can I help you? I'm just going to make dua for him or for her. Especially with the girls, when they have worse situations. You understand what I'm talking about. By the way, this is for our deen. You know, we have no limit to do our activities, especially in the masajid. You know, we have active masajid and we have not active masajid. Once we have active imam, we have active masjid, we can do everything, everything. Imagine if we're going to decide right now we're going to have our i'tikaf tonight. How many, do we have somebody can say, no, you cannot do it? Do we need any permission from anyone in the whole world to make our i'tikaf tonight? Okay, let us make a decision right now. We're going to pray 2 rak'ah after Isha, we're going to make i'tikaf, we're going to stay up to Fajr prayer. Who is the person can say, no, you cannot do that? Alhamdulillah, we have nothing. We have no one can say, no, you will not do it. Okay? The only thing, if we're going to make it, the only discussion we're going to have, how can we organize the time? Which one going to stay? What is the age? We are talking about the strategic plan or whatever you can call that. How can we prepare our staff to be here up to the morning? Other than that, alhamdulillah, we have no problem. We're gonna have another kind of food. When? 2 a.m. We're gonna have suhoor to have siyam tomorrow. This is the issue. This is the discussion. This is for the da'wah. The topics we're talking about in the minbar, nobody controlling us. I was one of the people, they are in the head of the Wazarat al-Awqaf one time. I was one of them, controlling 47,000 imams at that time. And Brother Khalid knows that. They were under my control. One time, I had my authority about 47,000 imams in my country, in the whole country. Imagine that number. And I can tell them, you can talk about this one, you cannot talk about this one. I think you need to choose this topic. Please avoid this one. And actually, we don't have please over there. This is the order. Coming from the highest level of the whatever you can call it. Anyway, I was there. I was controlling that. One of the people controlling that over there. Sometimes we are limited with a few topics. We are watching the green line or the red line. If we have a green line too, and we have a science or anyway. Here, nobody controlling me. I can talk about anything I want as long as I'm seeing this topic going to give the benefit for the community or not. The only thing can stop me if I'm going to hurt somebody, if I'm going to say something wrong, if you're going to give the wrong information or something like that. Other than that, we're good. We're good to go. We're good to go. Before yesterday actually, I was sitting with my students and I asked them, what do you want me to talk about tomorrow? They said, Sheikh, this is the beginning of the summer and we have a lot of problems during that time. If you can say something about that, please control the children. Allah yarda alaykum, sakkituhum, Allah yahfadkum ya. And they said, Sheikh, if you can talk about this topic and fix a few problems, okay, what kind of problems you have? They said so and so and so and so. They told me. And I took the message from their mouth and I delivered it from my member as an imam over here in the masjid. You know what I mean? This is the same situation. And imagine in the last period of time during the school time, what you used to do. Every single Friday, Khalid, every single Friday, we have our meeting together. This is the khataba time. This is the khataba session. Every single Friday, we have our meeting. Imagine from 8 to 10 or from 9 to 11, we have at least 2 hours to sit together around the table, choosing topic, bringing the evidences about that topic, telling each other how can we use all of that information to give a solution of the community, or saying something, giving the benefit, or whatever. They are preparing my khutbah. They are preparing my khutbah. Once we're finishing our preparing, sharing that in the Google Doc, sharing the information, and then that's good, alhamdulillah. Let me see how you're going to deliver the khutbah. And each one of them coming after each other, standing over there and like acting as the khatib and delivering the message. Some of them giving the short message, some of them giving the long message, but we are preparing our children to be an imam in the future. That's what we're trying to do. Maybe we cannot do that in other places, but the only problem limiting us with the da'wah may be the money. But actually, to be honest with you, I'm not seeing that as a problem. Because if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's going to give me my rizq at the end of the month. And He will not ignore my children. He will not put me in the trouble because I'm working under His supervision subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have a company and a company has an owner, the owner will never let his employees going without the money. Am I right? Imagine what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to do with us as the imams. Just for example, everybody for sure, but especially for us, we believe in that. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Got it? This is the first one. For the da'wah, for the Islam. I'm going to add something for that. The reach out, or outreach. Bismillah. How can we deal with that one as an imam? I still remember I was sitting in Mesquite Islamic Center as an imam over there at that time. And I received a pastors, maybe 2 or 3, they came to my masjid and they said, "Hi, you are a new imam here. We just try to have a good connection with you. Ahlan wa sahlan, ya marhaban, you are very welcome, more than welcome. Sit down, have a seat." And we start to discuss a few issues with my English at that time, what I'm, Alhamdulillah ta'ala alladhi afana mabtala bi khayrana. Okay? And we started to talk. Sorry for my English, guys. Forgive me about that. You're going to help me to understand you correctly. They said, "You have no problem. You're a brave man." And Alhamdulillah. And we started to talk about the Islamic issues and Christian issues and even the Jewish issues. And how can we have something in between to start from there? At that time they said, "Let us talk about the oneness issue between the Islam and Christianity and Jewish issue." I told them it means you want to destroy our relationship from the beginning. Once we're going to set front of the people, I'm talking about al-wahdaniyya بين الإسلام والمسيحية واليهودية, everybody going to be angry. Everybody going to be angry. Actually, because you're going to say something we cannot even hear it. They said, "Okay, what do you recommend?" I said, "I think we have a common thing, very strong thing." What is that? The manners, the ethics, al-akhlaq. I think everybody encouraged the people to have that kind of manners, and from there we can start to see. The issue I did at that time, we had a appointment, and they're gonna come to the masjid to discuss a few things. Before they're coming, and I asked my students over there to prepare a few questions, actually smartly. Okay? Because once we are sitting together, I cannot ask them something I already knew the question, the answer of the question. And I know they have no answer about that. Because of that, I asked my children to act like a questioner, and they asked a few questions, like a hijab, and what are you talking about, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how can we make it 3 in 1, and so on, so. At that time, they stopped, wallahi al-azim. We stopped them to continue You know, talking about their issue, they came back to the common things. At least they couldn't spread their words between my people. And I made my children or my students, I made them strong enough to ask our real and critical questions at that time. And I asked them to be at least brave, to face if they're gonna have somebody coming to them in the school and asking them like a critical question like that, they already prepared to answer all of that questions. This is the other side. What do we have about the da'wah of the women? Just for example, do we have any problem to just make a flyer? We're gonna meet inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala every Tuesday after Dhuhr prayer. 1:45 guys, we're gonna pray Dhuhr and then we're gonna set. Or let us start from 12 up to 1:45. We have almost 2 hours. We're gonna stay together. You're gonna learn from me just a tafsir and hadith and fiqh and so and so. You know, do you have any problem to do that? Just a flyer, spread it, WhatsApp groups. We're gonna find 50 to 60 akhawat sitting and learning. You know, maybe they have no time in the other places. This is, I'm talking about our advantage. I'm talking about a reasonable advantage. I'm not saying we are in the Jannah here. We have our problems. We under stress all the time because of the money, because of our income. You know, the majority of the people in the whole world, they don't know if you're gonna stop your work one day, maybe you cannot eat. And next month at least. Am I right? If you cannot work, nobody gonna feed you. The people, they don't know that. This is America, as I told you from the beginning. As much as they giving, as much as they are taking from you. This is my humble things for my children. Just, I'm talking personally right now, for my children. The first time I came, and I asked one of my friends in Toledo, Ohio, and I said, what do you think about the decision? Do you recommend to stay here or going back from the beginning? I know you already stayed here and you have everything. I am in على الشط يعني لسه ما بلتش رجلي يا حاج. What do you recommend for me? He said, I'm going to ask you one question. Just one question. After that, we're going to have a decision. Really? Just one question? It's easy, mashallah. He said, what about your relationship with your wife? What? Is that the question? He said, yes. Okay, come on. I'm talking about your the fitan in the street and the fitan coming to us. And you asking me about my relationship between me and my wife? He said, yes. This is the only condition. Come on. He said, okay, look at my children. If you find a mistake, I'm going to give you $1,000. I said, mashallah, alhamdulillah ta'ala, I'm seeing them. They are doing very well. He said, you know the key over here, my relationship between me and their mom. As long as we are strong enough to protect them, you know, to cover them, they're going to be okay. They are in the shelter. As long as they are in the shelter, nobody going to attack them. Nobody can even attack them, hurt them. No one can do that. Wallahi al-azim. It was the only condition he asked me. If you have a good relationship with your wife, you can stay in America and you can do whatever you want. This is the only condition. I asked him, what about the education, the public school, and so on? So he said, don't worry about all of that. How come? He said, because if you are strong enough at home, they're gonna come to home to talk to you because they are feeling, you know, they are feeling the harmony relationship between all of you. And they're gonna come to home to talk to you. Once you're gonna hear something, you can fix any problem they got back or they got back with them to home. Am I clear with that? You know, this is the only condition he asked me. Because of that, I made my decision. Taban, after asking like a few shuyukh like Dr. Salah Sawi had a conference at that time in Sacramento, California, and I met them and I asked him, Sheikh, what do you recommend for me? He said one statement, I never forgot that. He said, يا بني كن في الموطن الذي تكون فيه أعبد لله. يعني stay in the place, you're going to have a stronger relationship with Rabbil Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you're feeling a good relationship with Allah, stay over there. Don't ask me you are going to be in Egypt, you're going to be, brother, stay. God, استريح أخي. الله يرضى عليك. الله يفتح عليك ويكرمك. You know? Don't tell me you are in Egypt, you are in Saudi Arabia, you are in America. Don't worry about the place. As long as you have a good relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and giving benefit for your deen, stay. And to be honest with you, we have a special case. As an imams, you know, I still remember, Wallahi al-Azim, I still remember and remind the people about that promise I gave. Once I gave to America, it was 2004, that man, the witnesses. You know, and it was 2004, I came to America. After maybe 1 week or 10 days, I promised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I'm going to be buried over here in this country. I'm going to be graved in this country. سوف يعني نذرت لله أن أدفن في هذه البلاد. Why? Because I saw at that time how much that country needs more imams. More and more and more and more. And from that time, Wallahi al-Azim, from that time, since that time, Subhanallah al-Qadir, that topic in my mind. Imams Academy, how can we establish something to create a new imams over here, new generation, to teach the people, to make a strong people to deliver the da'wah of Rabbil Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what I mean? This is my experience. As long as you have a good relationship with your family, you have no problem with your children. They're going to grow up, alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with a good situation, with the good positions. But usually we are busy and our spouses, they are busy too. As long as we are busy, we don't have a good relationship. Even if we don't have a problems, by the way. But each one of us going in a different dimension, different angle, different way. And the children in between, trying to catch over here or catch over here, they cannot. The main problem if we have a divorce, it's gonna be this is the calamity. Ya Allah, alhamdulillah ta'ala. The other way, the schools, my experience, my humble experience. I just want to give the microphone to another people to share the experience. I'm just trying to warm you. Okay? For me, I used to let my children going to the public school up to 7th grade. Maybe you're gonna be, your brother, looking at me, what? Weird. Yeah. I wanted them be strong enough with the academic stuff. Okay, brother, what about the aqidah? I'm gonna give you an example. My son, he was in third grade. And he had a friend, really close friend to him. His friend asked him, Anas, what's your religion? Anas said, I'm a Muslim. Dunya nawarat ya boy. Anas said, I'm a Muslim. He said, you know what? You have to be Christian. He said, why? Because we are friends. I will not be your friends anymore if you will not be a Christian. You know, imagine that child in that age, what he said. What do you expect? He said, do you think I'm going to leave my Lord because of my friend? Does that make sense? You know, Wallahi al-Azim, when he said that, لما جاي يحكي لي قلت له يا ابني والله كأنه بهت الذي كفر يعني. It was like he didn't answer him. And he said, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And he came to home saying that. عملنا حفلة طبعا, we made a celebration for him and we encouraged him, wow, you did a great job and this is your answer and so on, so on, so. And since that time, he started to talk about his deen in the school. Did you get the key? As long as we have that pushing to our children, to be brave enough to show their identity and telling the people the truth, the facts about their deed, and they have a good information, a good amount of information, and correct information. As long as they have that situation, we have no problem. They're not in a dangerous situation. The other side, they're gonna be in a dangerous situation because we're gonna convince them to come to our side. Did you get this one? Usually I'm telling احنا ليه خايفين على اولادنا؟ احنا عايزين نخاف على اولاد الناس من عيالنا. يعدوا كده يوقفوا المنطقة على رجل. عيال صايعة كده في الحق. Okay, this is the Egyptian way. Don't worry about that. ايوه هو ده الكلام. ترجم بقى الله يفتح عليك عشان الكلمتين دول صعبين قوي عليا. الله اكبر. Did you see that? Just for example, usually we are keeping our children inside. They're not seeing what's going on outside. And this is more dangerous for them, subhanallah al-qadir. Unfortunately. مظبوط. I'm going to tell you something. Wallahi, something funny. Al-Azhar. I think we are talking about the top of the manners of the children. You know, they are studying in Al-Azhar. Al-Azhar used to isolate, up to now, isolate the boys and girls from each other during the middle school and high school. When we're going to meet? In the college. Imagine, they are coming to the college Thursday. What do you expect at that time? Unfortunately, we have a lot of problems because of that. I'm not encouraging them to do the other way, but I'm giving you just an example. As long as we are isolating them from the community, you know, they will never see anything. As long as, you know, one of the Sahaba, they used to come to the Prophet Muhammad sallam and he said, كان الناس يسألون النبي عن الخير وأسأله عن الشر. He said, the people used to come to the Prophet Muhammad sallam to ask him about the good things. And I used to come to him to ask him about the bad things. Why? خشية أن أقع فيه. Just to prepare myself to avoid that problems. Am I got it? Because of that, we need not pushing them, but at least open the window, like open the door a little bit, to let them see what's going on around them and giving them the vaccine. In the same time, we have to be watchers. We have to put them under our side to see them what's going on over there. And usually we're gonna jump in the right time. Got it? عارفين المنقذ بتاع السباحة ده اسمه ايه؟ Lifeguard? Okay? We're gonna be in the same position. By the way, okay, I talked a lot. Okay. اللهم صل على الهادي البشير صلى الله عليه وسلم. I'm telling you my personal issue, like my experience. And I used to even the girls. I had, alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have two girls. One of them, alhamdulillah, graduated from the biomedical engineer. Alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other one, in the last year, alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third one, my troublemaker, his Anas. Got it? Alhamdulillah. The boy and the girls up to 7th grade in the public school. And then, you know, at that time, brother, at that time, their desires gonna talk from inside. And we cannot watch that. Because of that, this is the right time to bring you over here. Even if somebody trying to kill them, they already knows what is the tricky issues. Don't carry me. Don't try to be smart with me. You know, I'm gonna beat you. Come on, man. What are you talking about? They already knows. They already know what's going on. What is the wrong issues? What is the right issues? What is even the bad things? They have information. And we already giving the vaccine, as they said, and saying this is the right thing, this is the bad things. Do that, don't do that. You know, for the Quran, I never forced any of my children, I never forced them to memorize the Quran. I never did that. By the way, even my children, my students, I never forced one of them to memorize the Quran, encouraging them. If they're not accepting that day, they're going to come tomorrow with a different attitude, giving them like a gifts, prizes, whatever, just to encourage them. If they're not having that at that time, okay, I'm going to be patient until they have it. Because when you have something, when you're thirsty, actually, you're going to get the benefit of that. As long as I'm pushing you to do that, you will never, you know. And we had, unfortunately, we had a bad experience about the parents, like not pushing, they are forcing their children to, forcing them. And after a while, subhanallah, they are leaving even the Islam. Astaghfirullah al-azim. Okay, anyway, I don't want to take the whole time. We have, unfortunately, I'm sorry, we have 10 minutes. We're going to share the experience. 3, 2. تعال هنا، تعال جنبي هنا عشان أما دي. بسم الله. في المداري أنت والميكروفون اتفضل. احنا بنصور احنا. أنت under watching. خلاص نعمل الإمام. اتفضل. You're gonna fire me. الزر بتاعتي. حلو ده إمام مظبوط كده. إمام زي بسم الله.
It's actually, you know, it's not about an experience. My kids, alhamdulillah, is still young. Yeah, I'm still, you know, learning from experiences from friends around and stuff like that. Subhanallah, yani what the Sheikh Ahmed mentioned about the family bonds. If you have a good family bonds between you and your wife, actually that's, I would say this is one of the backbones for raising kids. This is a very vital point. As long as you have this harmony at home, this is very crucial. And from my experience, alhamdulillah, my daughter is 13 years old. And subhanallah, I followed exactly the same footsteps that Dr. Ahmed mentioned. At the beginning, you know, my daughter was born here. And at the beginning, I don't know, I mean, I had, you know, I was thinking about the Islamic schools, but my income didn't allow me to, you know, put her in Islamic school. And also I had this kind of, you know, of doubt about if I'm going to put her in an Islamic school at that young age, is it actually the Islamic school from the point is she going to be prepared to digest the knowledge, or are they going to force her this? I mean, like, you know, as Dr. Ahmed was talking about, you know, teaching them Quran and stuff, Islamic morals and stuff like that. I felt like, you know, it's better for my daughter to be at the public school at the beginning, and later on we can, you know, and during that time, her mom, I did agree with her mom that she's going to be, you know, as like, you know, stay at home without a job and stuff like that. And we were working together about, you know, how to teach her about the Islamic values and stuff like that. Teach her slowly about the Quran and, you know, short surahs and stuff like that. And eventually when she was at the 5th grade at the public school, she came one day, she said, oh, you know, I want to wear hijab. I want to put on my hijab by herself. We were, you know, we were forcing her back. No, maybe it's too early, you know, no, it's too early to put your hijab and stuff like that. And she said, no, I want to, you know, wear my hijab. We were so happy inside that, you know, she's asking for that. But we were saying maybe she's, you know, it's like, you know, a momentary thing, and later on she's going to say, no, I want to take off my hijab and stuff like that. We said, okay, if you're, truly want to put on your hijab, go ahead for it. She started wearing her hijab and going to the public school for the 5th grade. Actually, she had a Muslim, classmate from the same country. I'm not going to mention which country. From the same country as our country. This Muslim girl, she started, ganging with the other non-Muslim girls against my daughter. The other girl, she was not wearing hijab. She started bullying and ganging against my daughter, and they started, bullying her because she's putting on her hijab. After a few months, she came, I want to take off my hijab. So to make the story short, I feel like now, we have been doing our part. She was, inclined to, follow identify her identity at school, but maybe that's the time that we need to switch to an Islamic, school. And it was not an easy decision to try to find a good Islamic school. But subhanallah, we had, we found a, all girls Islamic school, and we said, okay, from the next year, we're going to try with the all girls Islamic school. And from that time, we were kind of, my wife was saying, completely against this idea, because maybe they're going to teach her Quran all the time. They're going to teach her that and that and that. So maybe this is going to push her away and stuff. But actually, at that time, we started making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making, istikhara. Is this the right decision or not? Oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to if this is the right decision. And we said, let's take that, step forward. And subhanallah, from the first day she has been to the all girls Islamic school, she had the brave or the courage to, talk about her identity, that she's Muslim, because she is among all Muslim girls, and she started leading among her, classmates. And now, sometimes when we try to threaten her, we say, we're going to take you, if you don't act like this way, we're going to take you from the Islamic school, put you to the public school. She said, no, I don't want to do that. So, subhanAllah, that's just a brief story. But besides what Dr. Ahmed mentioned, it's sometimes we have to sacrifice from our, living, rather than just trying to save for my kids for later on. I say, I'm not ready to spend, let's say, 500, 600 on my kid a month. Now, I would rather save this money for them when they grow older. No, that's not the right route. Personally, I feel like if you are barely can spend, or your income barely can spend to put your kids in the right place, and you're not able to save a penny, that's the right investment. I tell my daughter every now and then, we are investing in you now for later on. We are not trying to save money for you for later on. And I tell her the story about Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, radiallahu anhu. When Umar ibn Abdul Aziz died, he had only 11 dinars, or 10 dinars. And he had 11 kids. And they put him for, to prepare him when he died, to prepare him for the grave, and, buy his, the fabric that they are going to put him. They spent 5 of those dinars. So he left 11 kids with 6 dinars. But subhanallah, those kids later on, because, he sacrificed his time and he sacrificed his resources rather than saving for them later on. Later on, they became, like a businessman and stuff like that. So, and subhanallah, I see many examples on the other side as well. I mean, my kids are still young, but I see some bad, scenarios on the other side. Some friends who are their kids, they're, grown up, but they have been putting them in the public school for the whole, they're now in the high school. But I feel the kids are being detached from their family, they are being detached from their identity. And subhanallah, sometimes, when you have friends like that, all what you can do is just give them an advice. But you can have no control on, anybody else. And the other dilemma, besides the public school, is not the only issue. The other dilemma is how we, especially with nowadays with the technology and devices and stuff like that. I'm totally, personally, I'm totally against someone who give his kids a device, freely open device, they can access it anytime, they can utilize it anytime. Because if you're protecting your kids from the environment around you, but you're giving them open, unrestricted access to a device that they can use anytime, they can have accounts on social medias, they can be exposed to anything, that now you're just putting them on the big ocean, and they have no way to decide. For us as adults, if you have a device that you're using without control, and you're gonna, maybe sometimes you're gonna get lost. Maybe sometimes you're gonna be distracted from your worship, distracted from, even you're gonna be wasting your time. What about the kids? If you have a kid, a girl or a boy, 10 years old, and you give them a device and they grow up with that device from the 10 years, going, I assure you in few years they're gonna be, lost. Because giving them an unrestricted access like that, it's I think you're providing them the resources or the ways for distraction. That's my experience based on what I see with my friends around, with myself. Alhamdulillah, till now, I never provided my kids a device where they can use it anytime, where they can have it, unrestricted access or anything like that. For my kids, I allow them only 30 minutes every other day to use a device for a game. And a specific game, just 30 minutes every other day. If they want to watch something on the TV, rather than just opening YouTube where they can just watch a video and in the middle of the video they can see any ad that I have no control on it, no. I said, okay, let me spend $10 a month on YouTube to have a premium account on YouTube where I have control. They cannot see an ad that comes, I have no control on it. So with $12 a month, I have a premium account where I can get rid of any ads, and I can choose on YouTube what videos I want to watch, because the suggestions are going to come based on my, what I'm watching. And they have been asking me for many years, oh, can we get a subscription for Netflix? Can we get a subscription for Hulu? Can we get a subscription? I said, no, we don't need that. Let me have something that I can control. I can choose what videos that we watch. The same account, the same YouTube. Why I'm mentioning YouTube? Because, that's easily one time the kids hold the device in their hand, they're going to open YouTube or anything like that. I said, okay, this YouTube account, you guys, when you use the YouTube, you have to come on the TV in the living area, the living room, where we can watch all together. There is no device allowed in your room. It's not about I don't trust you, but you guys are still, vulnerable to anything. If you go and sit somewhere and you just any, appealing picture or any video like that, you're going to push it and you're going to watch. No, but you want to watch on the TV here next to me and your mom, I'm going to be able to tell you, okay, this is the right video, this is not the right video. Additionally, having a parent control in your, internet connection, that's very important. I do sit at my home, and it's very simple. I mentioned that before here. It's a very simple to set a parent control on your home devices and their router, where you don't give a chance by any mistake. Your kids are typing something in the search, and they're just typing something random and hit enter. I don't know what they're going to see. So setting a safe parent control to avoid that kind of issue to happen. All these things can come together, and this way you can try to protect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the protector. With your dua, with your supplication in your prayer, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you and protect your family. And that's just, my very humble experience. Jazakumullah khairan.
Actually, Jazakumullah ta'ala khairan. I think, do you agree with me? We need to extend that meeting to the next time, the next Saturday, to continue. We're going to have more experience from the other brothers and sisters. Inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Jazakallah khair, Doctor. Barakallahu fikum ya Rabbi jami'an. Sallamakum Allah azza wa jal. ورضي الله تبارك وتعالى عنكم وأدامكم بكل الخير اللهم أمين يا رب العالمين. بسم الله.